Good morning, YouTube. I was asked some questions about investing and a certain investment, and I wanted to take you briefly through the types of investments that I have figured out that exist just by studying it for 20 years and thinking about it and kind of seeing what different investors do. And I've never really seen it all explained together all at once so you can understand the choices that you're making and kind of what you're looking for in an investment. So I want to get right into this. I don't want to go in the order, so I'm going to start at number 8. Number 8 is talked about a lot. It's a dollar cost average into like an index fund. The risk and reward are proportional because you're not timing it. You're doing it evenly across the time periods, evenly across the investments. And so it's proportional risk reward investment. And this is something anyone can do. You see a lot about it on YouTube. You see me talk about it. A lot of the investments I've done are proportional risk-reward investments. Now, the second type I'm going to go to is buying yourself a job. So some people will go spend $100,000 to buy themselves something they can do full-time, 40 hours a week. And, they might buy a job that's good paying. They might buy a job that's bad paying. But essentially, they're just buying a job. The qualifications of that are it requires you to work 40 hours a week on it, and this might be something that a lot of people do. You see a lot of sole proprietorships, a lot of people running different individual businesses around themselves. A plumber that has a plumbing business is buying a job. He has a job, that's what he's doing. It's not necessarily bad, but it does tie you up, and so that's what that is. I don't look for these because I don't consider them an investment tool. I consider them more of a time allocation tool. And so I look at them as a time allocation tool. How much time does it take me? How much can I make by doing it? What's the money required? Those three things. I'll go through a couple that are not investing. Learning from investments. Any investment that's not in the order of 3% of your net worth with a target of maybe going to 10% is not an investment. It's just a learning step. And so if you have your house and everything, you're worth $200,000, and you put $100 into Bitcoin, it's not an investment. It's not an attempt investment. It's just an attempt to learn. And so we need to not call those investments because people get confused about what an investment is, and they essentially piddle and confuse themselves about what they're actually investing in. This could be an investment because it's allocated over time. So maybe over 5 years, you're committing a certain amount of your salary to get to a certain point, and that's what makes an investment. Speculation is like gold or a house flip. House flip might be part of buying yourself a job. You're finding the house, you're fixing it up, you're flipping it to make money. But speculation means you're buying something that doesn't pay you to own it, but later you're expecting someone else to pay you more for that thing that you bought. So gold is a good example of that. Today, a lot of cryptocurrencies are speculation, not because they're a good or bad thing to buy, but because they don't pay you a real return to own them. Once Celsius went under, that real return it was paying was kind of overshadowed by the risk of the platform going under. It's very difficult to justify, Bitcoin, those things being anything other than speculation. And so speculation is really not an investment. An investment is something that you buy and it pays you to own it. So I'm going to start labeling these not investment. Doesn't mean it's bad or good. I mean, essentially when you run a business that buys and sells shoes, you're speculating in shoes. When I do that, I'm actually allocating money not to the shoes, but to the business. So $10,000 is going to be in this business. It's going to run in merchandise, right? And that's where I make the money, is in the business itself, not in the speculation with the thing that I'm buying. High risk, low return. There's a lot of high risk, low return investments. They are easy to find. The characteristics are you're paying a lot compared to the risk that you're assuming and the return on the asset. Think of the stock market at its very peak. high risk, low return. You don't know when it's the very peak. You're trying to time it here. But high risk, low return are bad investments. Okay? So don't do that. Now, there's another type of investment which is, I think one thing that Buffett does is he has like energy companies and some companies that if he just puts money into them, that money from here until the cows come home will make 6% return IRR. And that 6% was the number he gave, but it was based on the current treasury rate of 0 to 2%. So about a 4% actual return, maybe a 2 to 3% after inflation on that money. Now with this 4% base rate, 9.1% inflation, your IRR would have to be higher for this investment. But this is something you can just put money in all day long, and for you, it gives you 6%. So it could be a real estate company, it gives you 6%, or that kind of IRR that you're looking for. It could be a business. It could be several things that you do. This is an investment. Okay, one type. Another type of investment is asymmetrical risk-reward investment, and what that means is I own a few houses in a certain neighborhood. I know the values. I know what's wrong with them. I know how to fix them up. I know how to sell them. Because that a house goes on the market, let's say it goes to the market, it's worth $260. If I can buy it for $230, I know that I can sell it with $10,000 in costs at $240 in an instant, right? So I'm not really taking any risk. Yet there is an upside potential to that property, and I can make money by carrying the property also. And so that is an asymmetric risk reward. Now what you'll see is asymmetric risk reward investment came from the learning process. It came from buying myself a job to work on rental houses. It came from doing some of these other things that are not investments. But when I finally, get to the point, I've got a certain number of houses and things, I can do an asymmetrical risk reward investment. At $230, it's that. At $260,000, it's not. It's just shift in money, probably maybe a mediocre investment like down here. Anybody could do it. And so this is an investment. Last I'll cover this Lollapalooza effect, and this is under Charlie Munger, and I saw two things online for it, and I want to show you this one. This one says Lollapalooza effect is something regarding a psychological phenomenon where people's thoughts on things, cross over, such as how they think about, down here they talk about how people, Alcoholics Anonymous can have 50% of people that are in AA stop, drinking alcohol because of social pressure in the group and herd mentality. But these things combined, this is actually not what he's talking about. What he did was he read, the 3 books in the 3 psychological fields, and then he applied those to investing. And so what he's talking about is investments where there are multiple angles that they accelerate the return based on. And so if you think about this one, I bought property in 2019, and the properties were priced with a moat, and the properties were asymmetric risk reward to go in, and the properties gave me the IRR. So they really qualified as properties with the moat, which means the price was below the value. That helped give me the asymmetric risk reward, and it gave me a consistent IRR. Now on top of this, inflation hit and properties went way up in value. On top of that, I used the low interest rate. And so through all these things, I ended up with, I guess in a year, about a 350% return on my investment. And, after the 350%, then return per year is, still very, very good also. But this is Lollapalooza effect. There's several things happening, and I don't think you can plan for that. I didn't plan for that. I think what you can plan for is investments that you're going to get this consistent rate of return. And I think what you can plan for is investments that you're going to learn something, you're going to understand, and you're going to do an asymmetric risk-reward investment on. Now, doing those consistently, at some point you're going to run into Lollapalooza. I don't think I'm smart enough to see that occurring before everyone else does, but I certainly look for it. And so this is what I would say is an investment. And so if I had choices, I would rank investments by, let's do this. I would say this, but you can't create it. Number 2 is here, asymmetric risk reward. So you should always do those if you can get them. And asymmetric risk reward is, like I said, maybe you know something, maybe you're already in the business, maybe it's below value, you can do a fix up cheaper than other people can do. It's going to give you an internal rate of return that's higher than what your consistent rate of return needs to be. So this might be number 3. And the answer to this is no. Don't do it. And the answer to this is I'm always doing this. Maybe I do this with 1 to 2% total. Is I'm buying, crypto. I'm trying that. I'm buying a few stocks maybe that Buffett bought and watching those, seeing how they work out, seeing if they're giving me something that I'm looking for here. Are they this type of investment, or are they this type of investment, or did I get lucky and now they're this type of investment? Speculation. You can do speculation, but I don't consider it an investment. So I really wouldn't encourage anyone to do speculation because it really takes money from you that you could be using for 1, 2, or 3 when you spot those things. Most of the time in life, you're just preparing for 1, 2, and 3 to occur. And this one, I do. But I don't consider it to be an advantaged investment. I just consider it to be a place to put money. It's going to grow over time. And then when I come up with an investment here, I might sell part of this or shift part of these assets into this investment here, number 2, or possibly number 3 if I find that's something. So some of these I have for me. We can talk about another investment, another video. But this is how I see the 8 places investments. And so when you look at an investment, kind of look and see what this investment is and prioritize it based on the type of investment that it is for you, not for someone else. So this is something you can do all the time. This is something you probably can't spot. So if you think you do, you probably weren't spotting. This is what you're looking for, is asymmetric risk reward. But also if you can put money into something with consistent IRR, which compares to treasuries and inflation, that's a good thing too. That's maybe where your excess capital can go. Hope this helped you to make some decisions on your investments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.